Speaking Task 1. You will be asked a question about a familiar topic. You will then have 15 seconds to prepare your response, and 45 seconds to speak.
Which of the following companies would you prefer to work for? A company that offers you challenging and interesting projects but very few vacation days, or a company that offers you a job with boring work each day, but long vacations each year?
Prepare your response after the beep. Start speaking after the beep.
I would much rather have a boring job each day and longer vacations. First of all, I love to travel, so no matter what, I would want as many vacations as possible. When I was little, my mom worked for a company that offered few vacation days, so it was very unfortunate for our family because we hardly ever got away. Not only that, but I believe there are other things that can be interesting and exciting in your life besides your job. Even if work is boring, you can still have a good time with your friends and family or doing sports and hobbies in your free time. While interesting work projects would be nice too, they are certainly no substitution for long vacations every year.
Speaking Task 2. You will read a short paragraph and then listen to a conversation between two people. You will have 50 seconds to read the paragraph. After, you will get a question about what you read and heard. You will have 30 seconds to prepare your response and then 60 seconds to give it. You have 50 seconds to read. Start reading after the beep. Now listen to the conversation between two people.
I think what the Career Services wants to offer to us is quite ridiculous, to be honest.
I actually think that it would be really helpful and that they might really hire us later on.
You think so? For me, this is nothing other than a waste of time. Time for which we would not be paid. I did my fair share of internships in the past. Not one of the companies called me back. Not one of them wanted to bring me on board.
But you still get something to put on your resume.
It's easy to get internship nowadays. I don't think that employers care much about any internship we did. Of course, there are exceptions, but these are internships for the big multinational companies. It is extremely difficult to get into those. The internships we will be getting will be nothing like that.
You think so?
I'm quite confident. I don't think that we will learn anything in these internships. You're basically a glorified personal assistant. They ask you to organize the file cabinet or bring coffee for everybody. They don't want you to bother them when they're doing important stuff.
I'm sure that you would get a chance to do something interesting in these internships. I will apply.
I'm not saying you shouldn't give it a try. I might be wrong. I'm basing my opinion on my personal experience.
Okay, thanks for admitting that. Like I said, I will apply, and I hope I will prove you wrong.
What does the male student think about the internships that the Career Services will get for the students?
Prepare your response after the beep. Start speaking after the beep.
The male student thinks that the internships that the career services will get for the students are a waste of time. He believes that they will not be paid and that companies will not hire them after the internships. He shares his personal experience of not getting called back by any of the companies for internships in the past. He believes that employers do not care about the internships the students have done and that they will not learn anything valuable during the internships. He views the internships as being similar to being a glorified personal assistant where the students would only be asked to do menial tasks like organizing files and getting coffee. Despite the male student's negative opinion, the female student plans to apply for the internships and hopes to prove him wrong.
Speaking Task 3. You will read a short paragraph about an academic topic, then listen to a lecture about it. You will have 50 seconds to read the paragraph. After, you will get a question about what you read and heard. You will have 30 seconds to prepare your response and then 60 seconds to give it. You have 50 seconds to read. Start reading after the beep. Now listen to the lecture.
I can't help but think of Clara Barton when this term comes up. Barton was a nurse during the American Civil War who disregarded her own safety in order to help others. At a time when most women were required to stay away from the front lines, she ventured onto active battlefields to provide medical care to the wounded soldiers. Often she was under direct fire and in great personal danger, but she always prioritized the needs of the soldiers even when it meant putting herself at risk. Similarly, we can also look at Mother Teresa as an example. She dedicated most of her life to serving the poor and sick people of Calcutta, India. She took care of lepers and HIV/AIDS patients, knowing there was no reward to be reaped from her actions. These sort of selfless actions epitomize the concept of altruism in its purest form, helping others without thought for oneself.
How do the examples given in the lecture illustrate the philosophical concept of altruism?
Prepare your response after the beep. Start speaking after the beep.
Altruism, as a philosophical concept, refers to the selfless acts that are performed to benefit others without expecting anything in return. The lecture provides two vivid examples highlighting this concept: Clara Barton and Mother Teresa. Clara, disregarding her own safety, ventured onto active battlefields during the Civil War to provide medical care to the wounded soldiers. Similarly, Mother Teresa dedicated her life to serve the poor and sick in Calcutta, knowing that these actions would bring no material gain. Both examples are rendered as selfless acts, demonstrating the principle of altruism.
You will listen to a lecture about an academic topic. After, you will get a question about what you heard. You will have 20 seconds to prepare your response and then 60 seconds to give it. Now listen to the lecture.
So let's continue our conversation about the cuckoo bird. Now, one interesting thing about this particular species is that it practices egg mimicry. You see, cuckoo birds lay camouflaged eggs, much smaller than a bird their size should make, in other birds' nests. Their mimic eggs look identical to the other eggs, so the mother bird does not notice that the cuckoo egg is not theirs. Now, there are two benefits to the practice of egg mimicry. For one, the young cuckoo birds are provided a home and food by their adoptive parent, and also the other baby birds in the nest are offered some protection. For the cuckoo bird, egg mimicry is an easy way to have their young raised by a host bird. When the eggs hatch, the baby cuckoo bird shares in the shelter of the nest and the food brought by its newly adoptive parent. These birds also grow much larger in a shorter amount of time, so it's easier for them to compete with the other birds. If there's not enough food or room for all the baby birds to share, well, the cuckoo baby has been known to push the other birds out of the nest and consume all the food. But believe it or not, there is also a benefit for the other baby chicks sharing the nest with the cuckoo bird. Once the cuckoo baby bird hatches, it provides the nest with protection. When the mother bird leaves the nest and a hungry predator comes to take advantage of her absence, the baby cuckoo releases a smelly odor that drives the predator away. If the other baby birds are allowed to remain in the nest with the cuckoo, then they are, in this way, also protected from these dangers.
Using the example of the cuckoo bird from the lecture, explain two ways in which egg mimicry is beneficial for birds.
Prepare your response after the beep. Start speaking after the beep.
In the listening, the lecturer discusses a practice among cuckoo birds called egg mimicry. Cuckoos lay eggs that look the same as other birds' eggs in size and color. The mother cuckoo lays her eggs in another bird's nest so that bird can't tell the difference between her own eggs and the cuckoo's. According to the lecturer, this practice has two advantages. First, when the baby cuckoo birds are born, the host bird raises it like its own. The baby cuckoo is provided with a home in the nest and food from their adopted mom. But also, there is an advantage to the other baby birds too, and that is protection. Should a predator try to come for the nest while the mother bird is away, the cuckoo will release a smell that wards off the predator. After hearing this talk, I now have a better understanding of egg mimicry.